My beloved child, before you continue with your day, I need you to become still for just a moment. Quiet the thoughts that have been racing through your mind. Lay down the questions that have kept you awake. Release, if only for these next few moments, the burdens you have been carrying alone. I have been with you every step of the way, even when my presence seemed hidden behind the clouds of your circumstances. I have never taken my eyes off you. I have never stopped listening to the cries of your heart. Today I want you to hear my voice above every other voice that has tried to convince you that you have been forgotten. My child, I know what you expected. I know the prayer you thought would already be answered. I know the breakthrough you believed would have arrived by now. I know the sign you were waiting for. In your heart you quietly whispered, surely by yesterday something would have changed. You looked for confirmation. You searched for an open door. You hoped for one conversation, one message, one opportunity, one miracle that would reassure you that I was moving. But yesterday came and went, and the sign you expected never appeared. I saw the disappointment you tried to hide. I saw the way you smiled in front of others while carrying questions deep inside your soul. I heard the silent conversation you had with yourself when no one else was listening. You wondered if perhaps you had misunderstood me. You questioned whether your prayers had reached my throne. You even questioned whether your faith had somehow become too weak. Yet even while those thoughts passed through your mind, my love for you never changed. Listen carefully, my beloved. The absence of the sign you expected is not the absence of my hand upon your life. What you did not see yesterday does not determine what I have already begun today. I do not work according to human deadlines. I am not limited by clocks, calendars, or expectations. I created time itself, and I know exactly when every promise is meant to unfold. What seems late to you has never been late to me. You have measured your journey by days and weeks, but I have been measuring your growth by the transformation taking place within your heart. While you have been looking for visible evidence, I have been strengthening invisible foundations. While you have been watching closed doors, I have been preparing you for rooms you have not yet imagined. While you have wondered why nothing seems to be happening, I have been moving pieces into place that you could never arrange by your own strength. My precious child, do not mistake silence for inactivity. There are seasons when a seed rests beneath the soil. If someone looked only at the surface, they would assume nothing was happening. They would believe the ground was empty. But beneath the surface, roots are stretching deeper. Life is forming where no eye can see it. Strength is developing in secret. The day eventually comes when that hidden work suddenly breaks through the earth, and everyone calls it a miracle. Yet the miracle began long before anyone noticed it. So it is with you. The work I have been doing in your life did not begin yesterday. Nor did it end because you could not see immediate results. I have been cultivating patience where frustration once lived. I have been planting wisdom where confusion once ruled. I have been replacing fear with quiet confidence, even if you have not yet realized how much you have changed. My beloved, there have been moments when you wanted to run ahead because waiting became uncomfortable. There were times when you almost accepted less than my best simply because it was available. You nearly settled for relationships I never chose for you. You nearly walked through doors that would have led you away from my highest purpose. You nearly abandoned dreams that I placed within your spirit because discouragement whispered that they would never become reality. But I lovingly restrained you. At the time, you thought I was withholding blessings. You thought I was delaying your joy. You wondered why every path seemed blocked. Yet many of those closed doors were not punishments. They were protections. They were expressions of my mercy that you could not recognize while standing in the middle of your disappointment. My child, If I had given you everything when you first asked for it, some of those blessings would have become burdens. You were praying for outcomes, but I was preparing your character. You were asking me to change your circumstances, while I was changing your heart. You wanted immediate relief, but I desired lasting transformation. I know that waiting has tested you. There have been mornings when hope felt heavier than fear. There have been nights when tears became prayers because words would no longer come. You carried responsibilities that exhausted you. You encouraged other people while secretly wondering who would encourage you. You kept believing even after several disappointments, convinced you that giving up might hurt less than hoping again. Still, you continued walking. Do you know why? Because even when your faith felt small, I was carrying you with my faithfulness. Your strength has never been the foundation of my promises. My promises stand because my character never changes. I remain faithful when your emotions rise and fall. I remain present when your circumstances seem uncertain. I remain your shepherd, even when the valley appears endless. Remember David. Before he wore a crown, he spent years tending sheep where almost no one noticed him. He was overlooked by many around him. Even when the prophet came to anoint a future king, David was not the first person others considered worthy. Yet while people focused on appearances, I was shaping a heart that trusted me in lonely places. Every lion he faced, every bear he defeated, every quiet day in the fields was preparation for battles he had not yet imagined. Had David skipped the hidden seasons, he would not have possessed the courage to stand before Goliath. What seemed ordinary became sacred preparation because I was with him in every unnoticed moment. My beloved, your hidden season is not wasted either. The conversations no one applauded, the prayers no one heard, the sacrifices no one appreciated, the acts of obedience that seemed invisible to everyone else, I saw every one of them. Heaven keeps perfect record of faithfulness that earth overlooks. There are blessings forming around you that have your name written upon them. There are answers already moving toward you even now. There are people I am preparing to cross your path at exactly the right moment. There are opportunities that would not have recognized you 6 months ago because you were not yet ready to carry them. But I have been preparing both you and those opportunities until the appointed time. Do not allow impatience to convince you that nothing is happening. Imagine a river flowing deep beneath the ground. On the surface, the land may appear dry. Travelers may believe there is no water for miles. Yet beneath the earth, a powerful current continues moving without interruption. Eventually, that hidden river rises to the surface and becomes a source of life for everyone around it. That is how my work often unfolds. You may not always see it, but my spirit continues moving beneath the surface of your life. I am softening hearts you thought would never change. I am opening conversations before you speak them. I am arranging meetings before you schedule them. I am removing obstacles before you even realize they existed. Nothing catches me by surprise. The delay that confuses you has never confused me. The silence that worries you has never meant abandonment. The waiting that tires you has never interrupted my plan. Listen to me carefully, my child. There are moments when I intentionally withhold the sign you expect because I want you to discover something greater than the sign itself. I want you to discover my presence. Signs can strengthen your faith, but my presence sustains your soul. Miracles come and go, but I remain forever. When you learn to trust me before the evidence appears, your heart becomes anchored in something that circumstances cannot shake. Then, when the blessing finally arrives, you will not worship the blessing more than the one who gave it. My precious child, I know the longing you carry. I know the dreams you rarely speak aloud because you fear disappointment. I know the promises you revisit in your prayers. I know the hopes you have carefully protected from the opinions of others. Do not bury those hopes. Place them back into my hands. I am far more committed to your future than you could ever be. I have already walked through every tomorrow that still feels uncertain to you. I know the conversations that will restore your confidence. I know the provision that will arrive exactly when it is needed. I know the healing that will unfold one step at a time. I know the joy that will replace the sorrow you thought would last forever. My beloved, you are standing much closer to the fulfillment of my purpose than you realize. You have been looking at the distance behind you instead of the ground beneath your feet. Every faithful step has brought you nearer to what I promised. Even the detours have served my purpose because I have the power to redeem what seemed lost. Nothing surrendered into my hands is ever wasted, so lift your eyes again. Do not define today by what failed to happen yesterday. Instead, remember who walks beside you today. I am the same God who made a path through the sea when there appeared to be no way forward. I am the same God who fed my people in the wilderness when every visible resource had disappeared. I am the same God who raised hope in places where everyone else expected defeat. My power has not diminished, and my love for you has not grown weary. The sign you thought should have come yesterday has not been forgotten. It is simply arriving at the moment that will reveal not only my power, but also my perfect wisdom. So breathe deeply, my beloved. Rest your anxious heart in my hands. Keep walking with quiet confidence. Keep believing when your eyes cannot yet see. Keep trusting my heart when you cannot yet trace my hand. For I am already at work in ways that will soon become impossible for you to deny. And when you finally look back over this season, you will not say God was late. You will say God was faithful all along. My beloved child, there is something I want you to understand that will bring peace to your heart if you allow it to take root. You have spent so much energy trying to determine when everything will happen that you have overlooked how faithfully I have been carrying you through every step of the journey. The questions about tomorrow have become so loud that they have almost drowned out the evidence of my goodness today. Yet I have been beside you through every moment, every breath you have taken, every challenge you have endured, every quiet victory that no one celebrated has been sustained by my hand. You have not reached this point by accident, nor have you survived by your own strength. I have upheld you when you felt like collapsing. I have comforted you when no one else knew your heart was breaking. I have whispered hope into your spirit when despair tried to convince you that your story was ending. My child, there are seasons when my greatest miracle is not changing your circumstances overnight, but changing you while you walk through them. I know you have asked me to remove certain burdens immediately. I know you have prayed for sudden answers, instant healing, immediate provision, and quick restoration. There is nothing wrong with bringing those desires before me. I delight when my children come to me with honest hearts, but I also know what you cannot yet see. Sometimes the greatest blessing is not found in escaping the valley as quickly as possible. Sometimes it is found in discovering that I have been walking beside you through every step of it, teaching you lessons that could never be learned on the mountaintop. Think about Joseph, my beloved. As a young man, I gave him dreams that filled his heart with hope. Those dreams came from me, yet the road leading to their fulfillment looked nothing like he expected. Instead of honor, he experienced betrayal. Instead of celebration, he was sold into slavery. Instead of immediate promotion, he found himself falsely accused and imprisoned. There must have been days when Joseph remembered the dreams I had given him and wondered how any of those promises could still be true. Everything visible seemed to contradict what I had spoken, yet I had not abandoned him for a single moment. Even inside the prison walls, my favor rested upon him. Even in places that appeared forgotten by the world, I was arranging events that would one day place him exactly where he needed to be. Every painful season was preparing him to carry a responsibility far greater than he could have imagined when he first received the dream. Had I elevated him too early, he would not have possessed the wisdom, humility, compassion, and endurance required for the assignment ahead. What looked like delay was actually preparation. What looked like rejection became divine direction. My precious child, your life is not so different. There are moments when your circumstances seem completely disconnected from the promises I have placed within your heart. You wonder why the path feels so winding when the destination seems so clear. You ask why certain opportunities disappeared after you prayed about them. You question why people you loved walked away. You struggle to understand why doors that looked so promising suddenly closed without explanation. Yet I tell you this with perfect certainty. I have never lost sight of where I am leading you. Every closed door has protected you from something you could not yet recognize. Every unexpected detour has redirected you towards something greater than you originally imagined. Every season of waiting has strengthened muscles of faith that will carry you through blessings you have not yet received. I do not waste pain, my child. I redeem it. I transform what the enemy intended for discouragement into testimony. I take broken pieces and create beauty that only my hands could form. I know there have been moments when you questioned your own worth because life did not unfold according to your expectations. You compared your journey with someone else's and quietly wondered why they seemed to move ahead while you remained in the same place. You celebrated their victories while secretly wrestling with disappointment over your own unanswered prayers. You smiled outwardly, but inwardly you wondered if I had chosen to bless everyone except you. Listen carefully, beloved, because this is a lie you must no longer carry. I have never measured your value by the speed of your progress. Your identity has never depended upon your accomplishments, your possessions, your position, or the approval of other people. Before you achieved anything, I loved you. Before anyone recognized your gifts, I called you mine. Before you knew how your story would unfold, I had already written your name upon my heart. Nothing about your current circumstances has diminished your value in my eyes. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are exactly where I can continue shaping you for what lies ahead. There is a temptation that often comes during seasons of waiting. It whispers that you should lower your expectations, settle for less than what I promised, or stop believing altogether because hope feels too painful. But I am asking you today not to surrender your hope. Guard it carefully. Hope is not wishful thinking. Hope is confidence rooted in my faithfulness. Hope remembers that I have never broken a promise. Hope refuses to judge my future plans by today's temporary circumstances. My beloved, do you remember Elijah? After witnessing one of the greatest demonstrations of my power, he found himself exhausted, discouraged, and afraid. He believed he was completely alone. His emotions convinced him that everything had fallen apart. Yet even in that place of weariness, I did not condemn him. I cared for him. I allowed him to rest. I provided food for his journey. Then I gently reminded him that my work had continued even when he could not see it. There were faithful people I had already prepared. There were plans I had already set into motion. Elijah's discouragement did not cancel my purpose. In the same way, my child, your moments of weakness have not frightened me. Your tears have not disappointed me. Your questions have not driven me away. I know you completely, and I love you completely. When your strength begins to fail, mine does not. When your courage feels small, my power remains limitless. I am not asking you to carry tomorrow's burdens today. I simply ask you to walk with me one faithful step at a time. There are blessings approaching your life that require the version of you I am developing right now. The patience you are learning will protect those blessings. The wisdom you are gaining will help you steward them well. The compassion growing within your heart will enable you to encourage others who one day face the same valleys you are walking through today. Nothing about this season is meaningless. I know you have looked around and wondered whether anyone truly understands your struggle. There have been days when loneliness felt heavier than the burden itself. Even while surrounded by people, you sometimes felt unseen. You carried conversations in your mind that you never shared aloud because you believed no one would understand. But I understood every unspoken word. I understood every sigh. I understood every silent tear that fell after everyone else had gone to sleep. My beloved, I collect every tear you have cried. None of them have been wasted. Every moment of heartbreak has drawn my heart even closer to yours. When others misunderstood your intentions, I knew the sincerity of your heart. When people judged you unfairly, I saw the full picture. When you felt isolated, I remained beside you without leaving for even a moment. Do not allow temporary loneliness to convince you that you have been abandoned. I am closer than your next breath. I walk beside you in the ordinary moments, just as surely as I stand with you during life's greatest miracles. I am present in the quiet mornings when you seek me. I am present during the long afternoons when discouragement tries to creep in. I am present in the sleepless nights when your thoughts seem impossible to silence. My presence is not determined by your emotions. It is secured by my unchanging love. My child, there are answers already on their way to you that you cannot yet perceive. Just because your eyes have not seen them does not mean they are not moving toward you. There are conversations I am arranging. There are hearts I am preparing. There are opportunities that are drawing closer with each passing day. Heaven has never stopped working on your behalf. Do not lose heart because yesterday looked ordinary. I have often chosen ordinary days to prepare extraordinary moments. The sunrise begins long before its light reaches your eyes. The first signs of dawn appear while much of the world is still asleep. In the same way, my promises often begin unfolding long before you recognize what I am doing. Trust that I am already painting the horizon with colors you cannot yet see. So keep your heart open. Keep your faith anchored in my character instead of your circumstances. Continue speaking words of hope, even when your emotions fluctuate. Continue choosing obedience, even when results seem delayed. Continue loving, serving, forgiving, and trusting me, because every act of faith plants seeds that will produce a harvest in the season I have appointed. One day, my beloved, you will look back on these difficult months and realize they were not empty after all. They were filled with my fingerprints. They were filled with my protection. They were filled with quiet miracles that you only recognized after enough time had passed. You will discover that while you were asking me for one sign, I was surrounding your life with countless unseen expressions of my love. And when that realization settles deeply into your heart, your confidence will no longer depend upon what you can see. It will rest securely in who I have always been, your faithful Father, your constant shepherd, your unfailing defender, and the one who has never stopped working for your good. My beloved child, I know there have been moments when your heart whispered, "Lord, if you are truly moving, just give me one sign." You were not asking because you doubted my love. You were asking because you were weary. You wanted reassurance that your waiting had meaning. You longed for something that would quiet the storm of uncertainty within you. I heard every one of those prayers. Not a single one escaped my attention. Even when your words never left your lips, I understood the language of your heart. I knew exactly what you meant when all you could do was sit in silence and hope that somehow I was still near. Listen to me, beloved. There are times when I allow you to walk by faith instead of by sight, because faith builds a relationship that signs alone never could. If every step of your journey came with visible confirmation, you would begin to depend upon what your eyes could see instead of learning to trust my voice. But I desire something deeper than occasional moments of reassurance. I desire your heart. I desire your confidence. I desire a relationship with you that remains steady, whether the skies are clear or covered with clouds. Do not misunderstand my silence. Silence does not mean distance. A loving father does not stop loving his child simply because he is quietly preparing a surprise. In the same way, there have been moments when I have appeared silent, yet my hands have been busier than ever. I have been arranging circumstances beyond your understanding. I have been preventing battles you never even knew existed. I have been opening pathways that could not have appeared until certain obstacles were removed. While you worried that nothing was changing, I was changing everything behind the scenes. My child, I want you to remember Moses. When I called him, he felt inadequate. He focused on his weaknesses instead of my power. He questioned whether he was capable of fulfilling the assignment I had placed before him. Yet I was never concerned about what Moses lacked, because I already knew what I would provide. I did not choose him because he was perfect. I chose him because I would be with him. My presence was always the answer to every excuse, every fear, and every uncertainty. The same is true for you. You spend so much time looking at what you believe you lack. You notice the opportunities you missed, the mistakes you made, the resources you wish you possessed, and the abilities you think others have that you do not. Yet I am not asking you to accomplish my purpose through your own strength. I have never called you to carry your future alone. I am the one who equips those I call. I strengthen those who feel weak. I guide those who acknowledge that they need direction. Your dependence upon me is not a weakness. It is the very place where my strength shines most clearly. My precious child, I know that disappointment has knocked on your door more than once. You trusted people who failed you. You invested your heart into situations that ended differently than you expected. You believed certain opportunities would finally be the answer you had prayed for, only to watch them disappear before your eyes. Those experiences left wounds that are not always visible to others. Even now, there are parts of your heart that hesitate to hope again because you fear another disappointment. Come closer to me. Do not carry those wounds by yourself any longer. Let me heal the places you have hidden from everyone else. I am gentle with the brokenhearted. I do not rush your healing. I do not criticize your tears. I do not grow impatient with your questions. I know exactly how much your heart can carry, and I know exactly how to restore what has been damaged. Healing does not always happen in a single moment. Sometimes it unfolds quietly, one day at a time, as my love reaches deeper into places you thought would never feel whole again. Do not believe the lie that because you have been hurt before, you will always live under the shadow of pain. Your future is not imprisoned by your past. I am the God who makes all things new. What was broken does not have to remain broken forever. What was stolen is not beyond my ability to restore. What seemed permanently lost can become the beginning of something even more beautiful than you imagined. There are blessings ahead of you that will not resemble the disappointments behind you. Do not assume that every closed door will lead to another closed door. Do not expect every conversation to end in rejection because one once did. Do not allow painful memories to become the lens through which you view your future. I am writing a new chapter, and it cannot be understood by reading only the pages that came before it. My beloved, have you noticed how dawn arrives? The darkness does not disappear all at once. The first light appears almost unnoticed. Little by little, the horizon begins to change. What was once hidden slowly becomes visible. The birds begin to sing before the sun fully rises because they recognize what is coming even before they can see it completely. That is where you are now. The first light has already appeared, even if you cannot yet see the fullness of what I am doing. Small changes are taking place within your heart. New strength is quietly replacing old fears. Fresh hope is beginning to rise where discouragement once settled. The circumstances around you may not yet reflect the complete picture, but do not mistake the early light for an unfinished promise. The sunrise is coming. My child, I have been teaching you to recognize my faithfulness in small moments so that you will trust me with greater ones. Every unexpected provision has been a reminder that I see your needs. Every moment of peace in the middle of anxiety has been evidence of my presence. Every person I sent to encourage you at exactly the right time has been another expression of my care. These were not coincidences. They were reminders that I have been walking with you all along. You often ask me for dramatic miracles, and I am certainly able to perform them. But do not overlook the quiet miracles that surround your life each day. The strength to keep going when you wanted to quit was my gift. The wisdom to avoid a harmful decision was my guidance. The comfort that settled over your heart during your darkest nights was my embrace. The unexpected opportunities that arrived just when you needed them were my provision. My miracles are not always loud. Sometimes they are so gentle that only a grateful heart recognizes them. Beloved, I know you sometimes wonder whether your prayers are powerful enough. You think about the days when your faith felt stronger than it does now. You compare your present struggles with seasons when hope seemed easier to hold. Yet I want you to understand something that will free your heart. The power of prayer has never rested in the perfection of the one praying. Its power rests in the faithfulness of the one who hears. I hear every prayer. I hear the confident prayers spoken with joy. I hear the trembling prayers whispered through tears. I hear the desperate prayers spoken when you cannot find the right words. I even hear the silent prayers that never become sound because your heart is too overwhelmed to speak. Not one of them is ignored. Not one of them is forgotten. Every sincere prayer rises before me, and I answer according to my perfect wisdom, my unfailing love, and my eternal perspective. There are answers that come immediately. There are answers that unfold gradually. There are answers that look different from what you expected because I can see beyond what you currently understand. But every answer is shaped by my desire for your highest good. So do not stop talking with me. Do not stop opening your heart before me. Do not allow disappointment to silence your prayers. Speak to me about your fears, your dreams, your frustrations, your hopes, and your questions. I am not weary of listening. I delight when my child draws near, not because your words inform me of something I do not know, but because your heart is learning to trust mine more deeply. My precious child, the day is coming when the very thing you thought was delayed will become one of the greatest testimonies of my faithfulness. Others will look at your life and see only the blessing, but you will remember the waiting. You will remember the nights when faith was your only companion. You will remember the moments when you chose to trust me, despite having no visible evidence. And because of that journey, your gratitude will be deeper, your worship will be richer, and your confidence in me will be stronger than it has ever been before. Hold on a little longer, beloved. not because I expect you to carry the weight by yourself, but because I am carrying you, not because the road is easy, but because I have already gone before you, not because your strength is enough, but because my strength will never fail. You are not standing at the end of your story. You are standing in the middle of a chapter that my hands are still writing, and every page is moving you closer to the beautiful purpose I prepared for you long before you ever took your first breath. My beloved child, if only you could see your life from where I see it, so many of your fears would lose their power. You see scattered pieces, but I see the finished masterpiece. You see unanswered questions, but I see the answers already woven into the days ahead. You see delays, but I see divine timing unfolding with flawless precision. There has never been a single moment when my plan for your life slipped from my hands. There has never been a day when I awoke wondering how I would provide for you. Before you ever faced today's challenges, I had already gone before you. Before the obstacle appeared, I had already prepared the way through it. My child, stop measuring my faithfulness by the speed of visible change. Some of the greatest things I accomplish happen long before anyone notices them. When I prepare an oak tree, I first strengthen its roots beneath the surface. The deeper the roots, the greater the storms it will withstand. If I focused only on what people could see above the ground, the tree would never survive the winds that eventually come. In the same way, I have been strengthening your inner life. I have been teaching you to remain steady when everything around you feels uncertain. I have been building a faith that is not easily shaken by changing circumstances or unexpected disappointments. You have asked me why certain storms were allowed to enter your life. I understand why you asked. Pain naturally seeks an explanation. Your heart wanted to know whether the struggle had meaning, or whether it was simply random suffering. Hear me clearly, beloved. I never delight in your pain, and I never ignore your tears. Yet I have the power to transform even painful seasons into places where my glory shines most brightly. The storm was never greater than my presence. The trial was never stronger than my promise. The darkness was never capable of extinguishing the light I placed within you. Remember how my disciples once found themselves on a boat, while fierce winds crashed against them. The waves grew higher, and fear quickly replaced confidence. They believed they were about to perish. Everything they could see told them the situation was hopeless. Yet I was with them. The storm appeared powerful, but it was never in control. When the right moment came, I spoke, and the winds obeyed my voice. My precious child, there are storms in your life that have spoken loudly, but they do not have the final word. Fear has spoken. Anxiety has spoken. Discouragement has spoken. Delay has spoken. Disappointment has spoken. But none of them possesses the authority that my voice carries. My word remains greater than every circumstance surrounding you. When I speak peace over your life, no storm can permanently steal it. When I declare that I will never leave you, no season of loneliness can change that truth. When I promise to work all things together for your good, not even your greatest setback can prevent me from fulfilling that promise. Listen closely, my beloved. The enemy has worked tirelessly to convince you that you are running out of time. He whispers that you have missed your opportunity. He tells you that others have moved ahead while you remain behind. He fills your thoughts with comparisons that rob you of joy. He wants you to believe that because life has not unfolded according to your schedule, my promises have somehow expired. Do not believe those lies. The purpose I have for your life is not fragile. It is not threatened by delays, mistakes, or detours. I knew every decision you would make long before you made it. I knew every obstacle you would encounter before it appeared. Nothing has caught me by surprise. I am fully capable of redeeming years that seem lost. I am able to restore opportunities that appeared impossible to recover. I specialize in bringing beauty out of ashes because that is who I am. My child, I want you to release the burden of constantly comparing your journey with someone else's. Comparison has stolen enough of your peace. It has made you question blessings that were specifically designed for you. It has caused you to overlook victories because they did not resemble someone else's story. But I have never asked you to become another person. I created you with purpose that is entirely your own. Your path was never meant to look identical to anyone else's, because your calling is uniquely crafted by my hands. The flower does not compete with the tree. The river does not envy the mountain. The stars do not compare themselves with the sun. Each fulfills the purpose for which it was created, and each reflects my glory in its own way. So why should you spend your days measuring your progress against lives you were never called to imitate? Walk the path I have placed before you. Celebrate the victories I give you. Trust the pace I have chosen for your journey. It is enough, my beloved. I know there are dreams that you have quietly placed on a shelf because disappointment convinced you they would never happen. You rarely speak about them anymore because protecting your heart seems easier than risking hope again. Yet I have not forgotten those dreams if they were born from my purpose. What I have spoken over your life does not lose its power simply because time has passed. My promises are not weakened by waiting. They remain alive because I remain faithful. Do you remember Sarah? She laughed when she first heard the promise because it seemed impossible. From a human perspective, the years had passed and the opportunity appeared gone forever. Everything visible argued against the promise. Yet I was not limited by human expectations or natural limitations. What I declared came to pass because my ability is never confined by circumstances. Perhaps you have laughed inwardly as well, not because you wished to mock me, but because your hope has become tired. You have waited so long that believing again feels difficult. I understand that feeling, my child. But let me breathe fresh life into your weary heart. What seems impossible to you has never been impossible for me. What appears delayed has never escaped my attention. The calendar has not canceled my covenant with you, my precious child. There are conversations taking place that you know nothing about. I am touching hearts while you sleep. I am arranging appointments that are not yet on your calendar. I am creating opportunities that no amount of striving could produce on your own. While you have been wondering how everything will come together, I have already been weaving together countless details beyond your ability to imagine. There are people I am protecting you from because they would have distracted you from my purpose. There are relationships I am preserving because they will strengthen you when the right season arrives. There are doors I have kept closed because they would have led to unnecessary heartache. One day you will thank me not only for the prayers I answered, but also for the requests I lovingly refused. You have often celebrated the blessings you received, but someday you will also celebrate the dangers I quietly prevented. You will rejoice over accidents that never happened, conversations that never took place, temptations you unknowingly escaped, and decisions I redirected without you even realizing it. My protection has surrounded you more times than you could ever count. My child, never underestimate what I can accomplish in a single moment. You have seen long seasons of waiting, so you have begun to assume that every breakthrough must arrive slowly. Yet I am the God who can change everything in an instant. I can open a door that no person can shut. I can bring restoration where everyone expected permanent loss. I can replace years of sorrow with joy that overflows beyond your expectations. This is why I ask you not to give up when you feel closest to exhaustion. Many people abandon hope just before dawn begins to break across the horizon. They mistake the final moments of darkness for proof that morning will never come. But you, my beloved, must remember that dawn always arrives according to my appointed time. The darkness never decides when the sun will rise. I do. So do not let temporary darkness convince you that my light has disappeared. Continue walking with confidence. Continue trusting even when your emotions fluctuate. Continue thanking me before you see the full answer. Gratitude born from faith is a beautiful offering to my heart because it declares that you trust my goodness before circumstances confirm it. I smile when my children choose hope in difficult seasons. I delight when they continue loving despite disappointment, continue forgiving despite betrayal, continue believing despite delay, and continue worshiping despite unanswered questions. Such faith is precious because it is rooted not in perfect circumstances, but in the certainty of my unchanging character. Beloved, I am inviting you into a deeper place of rest. Not a rest that comes from having every question answered, but a rest that comes from knowing the one who holds every answer. Lay down the heavy burden of trying to control everything. Release the exhausting habit of replaying every possibility in your mind. Trust that my hands are strong enough to carry what yours never could. You do not have to hold the future together. You do not have to force open doors I have not opened. You do not have to fear what tomorrow may bring. I am already there. I have gone before you. I am walking beside you, and I will remain behind you, guarding every step until the beautiful purpose I began in your life has been brought to completion according to my perfect will and my unfailing love. My beloved child, there is another truth I want to settle deep within your heart today. Stop believing that your value depends on how productive you have been, how many goals you have achieved, or how many people recognize your efforts. The world has taught you to measure your worth by accomplishments, applause, and success. But I have never loved you because of what you could accomplish for me. I have loved you because you are mine. Before you ever completed a task, before anyone praised your gifts, before you overcame your first obstacle, my love had already embraced you completely. Nothing you have done has earned my love, and nothing you have failed to do has exhausted it. My child, I know there are days when you become your own harshest critic. You replay conversations you wish had gone differently. You think about opportunities you missed. You remember mistakes that still make your heart ache. Sometimes you wonder if those failures have permanently changed the course of your life. Sometimes you ask yourself whether you have disappointed me beyond repair. Listen carefully, my beloved. You have never surprised me with your weaknesses. Before you ever stumbled, I already knew where your feet would slip. Before you ever made a wrong decision, I already knew the path you would choose. Yet I still called you. I still loved you. I still made promises over your life, because my plans have always been built upon my faithfulness, not your perfection. That does not mean I ignore your mistakes. I lovingly correct you, because I desire your growth. But my correction is never rejection. It is the guidance of a father who refuses to leave his child trapped in places that cannot satisfy the soul. I discipline because I love. I restore because I care. I forgive because my mercy is greater than your failures. Do not allow shame to build a wall between us. Shame always tells you to hide. My love always invites you to come closer. Remember how Adam and Eve hid after they sinned. They believed hiding would somehow solve their problem. Yet I called out to them not because I did not know where they were, but because I wanted them to come back into relationship with me. I still ask that same question today whenever my children drift away through fear, guilt, or disappointment. I am not searching because I have lost you. I am calling because I want you to know that my heart still longs for you. Come to me exactly as you are. Do not wait until you believe you have become stronger. Do not wait until every habit has changed. Do not wait until every question has been answered. Come now. Bring me your burdens. Bring me your fears. Bring me your confusion. Bring me your failures. Bring me the parts of yourself that you think are too broken to be loved. Nothing you place into my hands remains hopeless. My precious child, there are burdens you have been carrying that I never asked you to carry. You have assumed responsibility for outcomes that belong to me. You have tried to control situations that only I can change. You have exhausted yourself trying to fix people whose hearts only I can transform. Your compassion is beautiful, but it becomes heavy when you begin carrying responsibilities that belong in my hands. Release them to me. You were never created to be everyone's savior. That place belongs to me alone. Love people faithfully. Pray for them sincerely. Encourage them whenever you can. Forgive them when they wound you, but never believe that their transformation depends entirely upon your efforts. I am working in hearts in ways that you cannot see. Some of the seeds you planted through kindness, patience, and truth will grow long after you have forgotten planting them. Do not become discouraged if you cannot immediately see the fruit of your obedience. A farmer does not dig up the seed every morning to see whether it has started growing. He trusts the process because he understands that life develops beneath the surface before it appears above the ground. In the same way, continue living faithfully. Continue loving generously. Continue choosing integrity even when no one is watching. Continue honoring me in the small decisions that seem insignificant. Those moments are shaping a harvest that will arrive at the proper time. My beloved, you have wondered whether the quiet acts of obedience really matter. You have asked yourself whether anyone notices the sacrifices you make. When you chose forgiveness instead of revenge, I noticed. When you remained honest even though dishonesty seemed easier, I noticed. When you gave even while wondering whether you would have enough yourself, I noticed. When you encouraged someone while your own heart needed encouragement, I noticed. There has never been a single act of faithfulness that escaped my attention. The world often celebrates what is loud and visible, but heaven rejoices over faithfulness that no one else applauds. I see the prayers offered before sunrise. I see the tears wiped away before anyone enters the room. I see the moments when you resist temptation even though no one would have known if you had given in. I see the choices you make simply because you desire to honor me. Those moments are precious in my sight. My child, never underestimate the influence of a faithful life. You may believe your actions are too small to make a difference, but I often accomplish my greatest work through simple acts of obedience. A single word spoken with love can change the direction of someone's life. One act of forgiveness can heal generations of bitterness. One decision to trust me can inspire countless others to believe again. Remember the little boy who offered his small lunch. To human eyes, it seemed insignificant compared to the enormous crowd, but when he placed what he had into my hands, I multiplied it beyond anything anyone expected. The miracle was never about the size of the gift. It was about the willingness to surrender it. The same principle remains true today. Stop focusing on what you think you lack. Place what you have into my hands. Offer me your time. Offer me your talents. Offer me your heart. Offer me your willingness. I am more than able to multiply what is surrendered to me. My precious child, there is beauty growing within you that you have not yet recognized. Your compassion has become deeper because of your own pain. Your patience has grown because of the waiting you have endured. Your wisdom has increased because of the mistakes you have learned from. Your dependence upon me has become stronger because you discovered that your own strength was not enough. These are not signs of weakness. They are evidence of transformation. You are becoming more like the person I created you to be. Do not become discouraged simply because the transformation feels slow. A sculptor does not create a masterpiece with a single strike of the chisel. Every careful movement shapes the final work of art. Likewise, every lesson you learn, every trial you endure with faith, every moment you choose obedience over convenience, is another gentle touch of my hand shaping your character. One day you will look back and realize that the person you once prayed to become was being formed during the very season you wished would end. My beloved, I also know there are times when the voices around you become so loud that you struggle to hear mine. Some voices tell you that you are not enough. Others tell you that you are too late. Some remind you constantly of your past. Others try to define your future by your failures. If you listen long enough, those voices begin to sound convincing, but they are not the truth. My voice speaks differently. I call you chosen. I call you redeemed. I call you forgiven. I call you loved. I call you my own. When I look at you, I do not see only your history. I see your destiny. I do not see only the chapters filled with tears. I see the joyful ending that my grace is preparing. I do not define you by the battles you have fought. I define you by the purpose for which I created you. So fill your heart with my truth, instead of the opinions of those who cannot see what I have placed inside you. Let my promises become louder than your fears. Let my love become stronger than your doubts. Let my peace become greater than your anxiety. The world will always offer reasons to worry. I will always offer reasons to trust. And as you continue walking with me, day after day, choice after choice, you will discover that the confidence growing within your heart does not come from knowing exactly what tomorrow holds. It comes from knowing that the one who holds tomorrow has promised never to let go of your hand. So keep walking, my beloved, not because the road has become easy, not because every question has been answered, but because I am leading you. And I have never failed anyone who placed their trust completely in me. Every step you take with me is bringing you closer to the fulfillment of everything I have lovingly prepared for your life since before the foundation of the world. My beloved child, before my voice becomes quiet in your heart today, I want you to carry these words with you wherever you go. Do not allow the noise of this world to drown out what I have spoken to you. Return to these truths whenever fear tries to find a home in your mind. Remember them when the waiting feels long. Remember them when the answers seem delayed. Remember them when you are tempted to believe that I have forgotten you. I have not forgotten you. I never will. Your name is precious to me. Your life has purpose. Your tears have meaning. Your prayers have been heard. Even now, while you are listening to my voice, I am working in ways that you cannot yet see. I am opening doors that no person will be able to close. I am removing obstacles before you arrive at them. I am preparing hearts, arranging circumstances, and weaving together countless details that will one day leave you standing in awe of my faithfulness. So stop searching for reasons to lose hope. Instead, look for reasons to trust me. The sign you believed should have come yesterday has not been canceled. It has not been forgotten. It has simply been held in my loving hands until the moment that will bring the greatest blessing to your life and the greatest glory to my name. When it arrives, you will understand why I asked you to wait. You will see that my timing protected you prepared you, and positioned you for something far greater than you could have imagined on your own. My child, keep your heart soft. Do not allow disappointment to make you bitter. Do not allow delay to steal your joy. Do not allow fear to silence your faith. Continue walking with me each day. Speak with me often. Trust me completely. Rest in my promises, even when your circumstances seem uncertain, because my promises are not built upon changing situations. They are built upon my unchanging character. Whenever you feel weak, remember that my strength is made perfect in weakness. Whenever you feel lonely, remember that I am closer than your next breath. Whenever anxiety tries to overwhelm you, remember that my peace is greater than your fears. Whenever you wonder whether you can keep going, remember that I am holding your hand, and I will never let you walk alone. Lift your eyes, my beloved. A new season is drawing near. Though you may not yet see every detail, the dawn is already breaking. The light is beginning to shine upon paths that once seemed hidden in darkness. The story is not ending in sorrow. It is moving toward hope. It is moving toward restoration. It is moving toward fulfillment. I am the author of your story, and I never leave my work unfinished. One day you will look back over this season and realize that every delay carried a purpose. Every tear watered seeds of blessing. Every disappointment redirected you toward something better, and every moment of waiting drew you closer to my heart. You will not remember this as the season when I abandoned you. You will remember it as the season when I carried you more closely than ever before. So walk forward with confidence. Walk forward with peace. Walk forward with expectation. Not because life will always be easy, but because I will always be with you. Nothing can separate you from my love. Nothing can overturn my plans for your life. Nothing can prevent my promises from coming to pass when the appointed time arrives. I am your refuge when the storms arise. I am your shepherd when the path is unclear. I am your provider when resources seem scarce. I am your healer when your heart is wounded. I am your defender when you feel surrounded. I am your everlasting Father, and I will remain faithful until every promise I have spoken over your life has been fulfilled. Now, my precious child, go into this day with courage instead of fear, with hope instead of despair, and with peace instead of anxiety. Walk knowing that I am already ahead of you, making a way where there seems to be none. Walk knowing that my angels watch over you according to my will. Walk knowing that my love surrounds you, my grace sustains you, and my mercy will meet you again with every new morning. And whenever your heart begins to wonder if I am still near, be still for a moment and listen. You will find me where I have always been, right beside you. I love you with an everlasting love. I am holding you. I am leading you. I am restoring you. And at the perfect time, you will see that the sign you thought should have come yesterday arrived exactly when it needed to, because my timing has always been perfect. Remain in my peace, my beloved. Remain in my love. Remain in my presence. I am with you today, tomorrow, and forever. Amen.